Are you guys ready?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hold on. This helps me project.
Zero fucks given podcast.
Today we'll be covering Dork MAGA, Elon Musk, Meta's new product, and Zuck's new look, South Korea's plan to lift their short-selling ban, the crypto Godfather paying off cops, Spain going full retard after Gotham research, plus a special announcement from Carson. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe.
Dork MAGA Elon Musk joined Donald Trump on stage at a rally in Pennsylvania this past weekend after Trump introduced Elon as the, quote, truly incredible guy who, quote, saved free speech. Haha. Elon started bouncing up and down like a fucking weirdo. And so that's just the imagery. But then he just went way too far in his comments, saying that if Harris wins, this will be the last election like in America. At times I admire this guy, Elon. God, he's so fucked up. Like, he's just sometimes so wrong.
So I feel like we had the same reaction on reading the news story, because I saw the news story, and I guess there's like it's like Elon up on stage with Trump, and he's jumping up kind of like this.
Yeah, like fat middle-aged guys should not bounce up and down.
Well, so two things. So my reaction was the same as yours when I saw the picture of him like kind of jumping like that. I thought, is that fake news? Because like genuinely, he looks so retarded. I was just like, maybe that's just not a real story.
I totally thought that was doctored.
Now, to correct Trump, saying that Elon's rocket company is the reason we can send Americans into space. That's not actually true. There are other guys who can also send Americans into space, I think. Now, getting Americans back from space, to be fair to Elon, he is the only fucking gig in town at the moment, right? Like, you gotta...
Trump's good friends, Putin, could help out with the Soyuz.
That's true. So, the guy's doing some stuff right. But, I genuinely... I mean, he looked so retarded that I was like, maybe this is one of these, fake stories.
I didn't realize he had a belt buckle on over there. I thought I don't know what at first I thought that. At first, I actually did think it was a fake picture as well, but...
Well, I guess that's his whole Texas thing. Ever since moving here 3 and change years ago, people ask me every now and then, where are your cowboy boots? Don't you have any? Or, a cowboy hat? And it's like, oh man, I haven't lived here long enough.
I just say, oh man, that's for fucking pretenders. My horse is out back.
Exactly.
There is a dude who actually more frequently than never rides up and down South Congress on a horse. I don't know if you've seen that. I've seen it like 2 or 3 times in the wild here. And there is a couple who routinely walk a pig. I've seen that more than once.
On South Congress, yeah. Yeah,
on South Congress. So you see a fair share of real Texan shit here.
And I guess if Elon wants to, A, show that he's really Texan, and B, that he cares for the environment, dude, stop driving Teslas. Ride a horse. What's more eco-friendly than that? So when Trump wasn't rallying with Elon Musk, he was busy announcing his latest money-making venture in decentralized finance. So last Monday, Trump announced that the whitelists are now open for his new cryptocurrency platform, World Liberty Financial. One small catch: neither Trump, his sons, nor anyone else involved has really explained what this platform even does. And Trump's past offerings, or recent offerings, of course, have included $100,000 watches, $400 gold sneakers, Trump-themed Bibles.
What?
I mean, Jesus Christ. No pun intended. Like, what? And silver coins with his face on them.
For me, the watches are really
Yes.
what's recently kind of piqued my interest. I stumbled across this a week or two ago, and I like watches, and the FT actually did a phenomenal teardown of the genuine value of like the separate components within the watch. And what I really want to do is get a knockoff one off like Temu or something for like $300-$400, but like the knockoff.
Even
of
that
the
would be a
$100.
lot.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Even that's a lot,
Hold
man.
on
Yeah.
there.
So I want to get like a knockoff version of the like blingy $100,000 one and kind of wear it around. And honestly, if anyone like kind of says, "Is that there?" I'm like, yeah, it is, and just kind of subtly swag it off, and then maybe once in a while give them out to people, like when I seal business deals, be like, hey guys, that I usually like to give a gift as a thing of trust.
We're going to need to order a lot of those.
And it's one of these things that is like so ugly and horrible that no one's ever going to wear it, but they're going to maybe think it is worth $100,000 because who's going to like actually like check if it's fucking real or not, and they're not going to know what to do with it.
I think the market for the $100,000 Trump watch is probably pretty similar to the market for the $500,000 Hunter Biden painting.
Ooh, yeah. That's
Yeah,
true.
like let's not kid ourselves here.
Yeah.
like, there's a market.
Wait, you mean the Hunter Biden paintings I bought a few years ago? Like, you think they're not worth the money I paid for them? Shit.
Oh yeah, well actually they did plummet in value the minute that Joe Biden hit that debate stage back in June.
That's so true. Poor fucking guy. It's the first time that anyone with the same surname as the artist has looked dead, and the value of the paintings has actually plummeted. Usually it's somewhat the opposite. That really does suck for him.
Yeah, exactly. No, I mean, when Hunter was watching that debate, he must have just dropped his crayons right then and there and realized it wasn't worth it anymore.
Last Wednesday, Mark Zuckerberg unveiled Meta's new augmented reality glasses at the company's annual developer conference. While unveiling the new tech look, Mark wore a t-shirt comparing himself to the Roman Emperor Caesar, emblazoned with "Aut Zuck, aut nihil." Well, that's why I failed Latin. A twist on "Aut Caesar, aut nihil." I don't know why that sounds German. It probably should be in like some sort of other accent, meaning either Caesar or nothing. This honestly is something that we've been at the forefront of identifying, and it's the fact that most billionaires, specifically tech billionaires, have spent their money becoming cool. Okay, so like let's take Jeff Bezos. He's one of the richest guys in the world. Like, oh Jeff, what do you want to do? Like with all your money, do you want to like, I don't know, cure cancer? Like, Bill Gates kind of took on malaria. He's like, no dude, I want muscles. I want to go with tits and I'm gonna. So that's what he's done. And Zuck has basically been like, yeah, make me look like, Michael J. Fox from Back to the Future or something. Like, what the fuck is going on? The guy's like wakeboarding. He's got this like strange kind of like fluffy goatee thing going on. And now he's wearing tie-dye t-shirts. It's just
wasn't he going to do like a cage match against some other against Elon, right?
Yeah. Wait, hold on.
Yeah.
What the fuck is this? Sorry.
Oh,
Zuck
yeah.
isn't just rebranding his style. He is also
saw this.
rebranding the minivan. Recently, he gifted his wife a custom vanified Porsche. I gotta tell you, man, that's actually pretty fucking cool.
Okay, so it's really, so it's in front of West Coast Customs. So okay, they could do shit like that. Interesting. Well, what would really impress me is, so he's sitting on the hood of a 911. Like, he should have that turned into a limousine, and then
What?
a stretch limo. And then the best part is, though, it only has those doors up front, so you have to like, move the seat up and
Roll back.
yeah, crawl into the back. Then you get all the way back like 8 feet into your seat.
Dude, is West Coast Custom, that kind of reminds me of that show with Exhibit on, Pimp My Ride.
Yeah.
So I always loved how, they got this banger car, They'd like genuinely make like the front of it look
Banger
cool.
meaning beater?
Like beater, yeah. And then
Yeah,
like,
okay.
you know,
Like a
they'd make the front look
like
cool
a
and you're like,
crappy
oh, this is
car?
really cool. And then you get to the back and they're like, yo, bro, I'm waiting for the best bit. And you're thinking like, what? And he's like, we got a ping pong table in the back. And you're like, well, who the fuck wants to drive around with a ping pong table in the back?
I think that's cool.
There was a thing in the 80s where like
Like a
the most
pool,
ostentatious
like
limousine ever had like a little swimming pool in the back.
yes.
Yeah, that was in I remember like hearing about that. And then
I was like, that's so cool.
in that in the video for the Phil
Collins
Collins song "Take Me Home," like part of the scenes were him sitting. So it was actually where the trunk was. So it's on the outside, and where the trunk was, they put this little pool that was deep enough you could dip your like calves into it or something. So he was like sitting,
just your feet.
yeah, he's like, sitting with his calves dipped into it, probably holding on for dear life as the fucking limo is driving. Yeah, one of the all-time like just worst ideas for what to do to a car.
I'm like, that's
You say
genius.
that. It's obviously, it's obviously impractical for you, Carson, because you drive a fast car. It was until recently impractical for me because I didn't have a driver's license. But if you're Krista,
Didn't stop you
drive.
driving.
I know.
Listen, man, I abide by the Noah Tide rules. Some of the ones of man just don't work for me. But if you're Krista and you drive slow enough that cyclists can pass you,
So what's
the
your
water
point?
sloshing around in the
routinely
back
do.
is not...
Not only can, but routinely do. All right, so I need to level with our viewers here about something. So for a few years now, and if I cared enough to look up how many years before saying this, I'd be able to give you an actual date. But for a few years now, we've been bringing to you the most important, hardest-hitting finance, political content on this podcast, Zero Fucks Given. And we've had no sponsors, no commercials, and yet we're in an industry, we're in the finance industry, right, where everybody around us are whores. And I think that's why we're short sellers, because we actually kind of resent the whores, but I think they've got a point. So now we've got to be whores ourselves to an extent. All right, so this is going to be a word from our sponsor, but this is the best sponsor ever, the only one you should ever care about. The sponsor of this particular episode of ZFG is the Muddy Waters New World Order Fund, which is focused on long-side investing in Vietnam. This is a macro theme that we developed in April of 2020. So it basically has a couple of raison d'etre. So number one, Vietnam is right now, in some respects, it's kind of like China in the 90s. And so our view is if you know what you're doing, you can do quite well in public equities there. Number two, Vietnam's part of the benefits Vietnam receives are from the rotation of foreign direct investment away from China. So in a way, being long Vietnam is also the fuck China trade. So that's another reason why you should consider investing in this. But bottom line is, we think there are exciting opportunities there. And so if you are interested in the Muddy Waters New World Order Fund that's focused on Vietnam, please go to www.muddywatersasia.com to learn more and send us an email.
Back to the real finance news of the week. South Korea is set to lift their short-selling ban by the end of March 2025. Oh, that looks like a typo. I think it's 2,205. The FSC first imposed the ban in March 2020 to stabilize markets during the pandemic.
Does the FSC stand for financial blanking blank?
I think it's fucking short seller cuckolds.
Ooh, I was thinking kind of like Elon's whole, like what the SEC stands for, so financial sucking cock, but okay.
Could be.
I like yours
After
better.
uncovering illegal trades by foreign banks, the ban was reinstated in November 2023. Now the FSC is making sure the necessary rule changes are in place before officially lifting the ban in 2025. Now, I think there was actually something a little bit more hardcore. If you give me a minute, I'm gonna look for it. But I'm fairly certain they actually threatened. Give me one moment here. So I actually think that they extended the short sale ban, and they are now threatening life in jail for illegal short selling. So for those of you who are thinking,
Wait, that is so. Let me tell you how patently unfair that is. Okay, because everybody who's anybody in South Korean business has been to prison. Like, it was sort of a half joke in the movie Blow. Johnny Depp was playing, I guess, some guy who was once real, and said that going to prison is like getting a graduate degree for criminals. In Korea, that absolutely is the case. So what the fuck? Like, you're not going to give short sellers the same opportunity you give all these other scumbags, like, to go out into the world and apply what they learned in a prison to taking money from the dupes? Come on, guys. That's so unfair that you treat short sellers that way. I mean, you let everybody else out on society. Even child molesters, probably. On Roblox.
Do they have the death? Do they have the death penalty in Korea? Because they would so much rather do like public executions of short sellers.
They probably have the death penalty for possessing a quarter ounce of weed or something. Speaking of really smart regulators, and I say that with as much sarcasm as I'm capable of mustering. Krista, when she introduced this in the beginning, she said, the CNMV, which is the Spanish market regulator, goes full retard on Gotham City research. I don't know that it's retardation. There's another possibility, that it's abject corruption. So my view is that either the president of the CNMV, this guy Bonaventura, is either retarded or corrupt. So what happened was Gotham City Research, it's an activist short seller. They've been around a long time. They led to the erasure in 2014 of a company called Let's Galix that was listed in Spain and turned out to be a substantial fraud. They published early this year on a company called Grifols. And so they accused Grifols of various manipulative, deceptive forms of accounting that hid the true levels of debt, etc. So the Spanish market regulator, and I believe that report was published in January. So at the end of September, Spanish market regulator announced that Grifols is going to be revising some of its accounts. So apparently Gotham City Research was correct in certain regards, but that it was also going to pursue a sanctions proceeding against Gotham City Research for market manipulation. And yesterday, Bonaventura actually spoke about this publicly, and he said, well, what Grifols did was bad, but what Gotham City Research did was much worse. How fucked up is this place? A couple of days ago, the FT had a story. The headline was that Spain is getting impatient about the EU's slow pace of capital market improvements and reforms, and Spain is proposing that countries, like-minded countries, form small working groups so that they could advance reform quicker. I mean, really? Reform to what? The Stone Ages? Reform to when people didn't even think about what they were buying and selling, but maybe are just like literally reading tea leaves. Look, what is it that you guys can possibly determine about market manipulation by an activist short seller when the company is actually restating accounts, and it hasn't even been close to a year since the report happened. So what kind of investigation could the Spanish have actually carried out in that time? We, Muddy Waters, we've been through the ringer. We've been through 3 investigations by national regulators, cleared in every single one, but the first one that started was the AMF in France. That investigation took approximately 4 years to close. The second one was in Germany. That investigation took 5 years to close. And the third one was in the US, which took over 2 years to close. So what is the CNMV actually doing here? Are they regulating the market, or are they protecting their buddies and furthering corruption? That's my question.
Border Patrol agents in Texas recently made an unexpected haul, confiscating over 700 pounds of Mexican bologna, 280 boxes of undeclared prescription meds, and nearly $8,000 in concealed cash during an inspection at the port of entry. The person transporting all of this, a 43-year-old woman who declared only a cooked meal during the initial inspection. Now she's facing a $1,000 fine for failing to declare the goods.
You know why this was inserted here into our stories? It was to downplay the fact that Diddy was caught with 1,000 bottles of lube. Somebody here been to a Diddy party and wants this guy to get off. I mean,
that was a long time ago, by the way.
You know,
and
the trial,
wait a minute.
not like
So
bust a nut off.
I gotta tell you, the thing that always confuses me, and I have had some issues with customs. Nothing baloney related, more just trophy grenades and stuff like that, trying to sneak through, getting on the wrong planes.
Statues of grenades. Jesus.
Yes.
Who are these people?
But I am always confused at the border when they're like, oh, any food to declare. And if you've bought like some snacks, like on the other side, like I obviously don't declare that, but I assume you're not supposed to, right? No one's like, oh, I got like 3 packets of chewing gum and this and that, right?
I mean, I know a lot of people who, I mean, I don't know about 700 pounds of Mexican bologna, but definitely food that people don't declare. I think the 280 boxes of undeclared prescription meds now.
So, given that bologna is basically the word for lips and assholes,
which happen to be delicious, by the way.
Is it human trafficking?
Like what's
if it's that much of it?
What's Mexican bologna?
That I don't know.
I mean, the lips of the lips and the assholes of the assholes. New York City Mayor, not for much longer, Eric Adams, was indicted on federal charges of bribery, fraud, soliciting political contributions from a foreign national. The allegations are that Adams accepted bribes in the form of upgrades to business class and other travel perks from the Turkish government. And Turkish government owns part of Turkish Airways, which is the airline in which Adams allegedly received these perks. So Adams is now making history as the first ever sitting New York City mayor to be indicted. And there was a comedian who made this point, so I'm going to make it too, which is, why the fuck did you settle for business class instead of first class? What is wrong with you? How fucking embarrassing. It was like kind of embarrassing. Like, of all the women Bill Clinton could have owned, he boned Monica Lewinsky. Like, what's wrong with these people? That's the thing with Democrats.
Carson, that's not fair.
That's the problem. This is the problem with Democrats. When they fuck around They do it business class, not first class. Lewinsky, not top drawer ass.
Let's be clear. Bill Clinton
Like,
got
what's her name?
caught with Monica Lewinsky. You know that guy was fucking everything else that moved, all right? He just got caught with her. Now, let's look
You
at...
think that was like... It was like musical chairs or something. The music stopped and like Monica was sitting on him instead of like the, dimes that had just cycled through the Oval Office. Bullshit.
So the Carson, that's not entirely fair because there's that New Jersey senator, right? Menendez.
Yes.
That guy's done it OG, right? He's not accepting silver coins. Like, he had gold bars and I think like a Mercedes. Now, granted, he was doing it as if he was like a late 90s rapper. Spending his advance. So, it was certainly questionable. I also like that he's kind of gone with the Puff Daddy opt-out, like, oh, yeah, it was my girlfriend. Like, really sorry, didn't know that she was doing all this. That her gold
The best
bars.
part about Bob Menendez, he was convicted. This was the second time they had tried him for corruption. He was acquitted the first time. So, and these were totally different sets of facts. So, the guy couldn't help himself. But, it's kind of interesting, right? Like, let's take a step back here for a moment and look at the corruption board. Okay, so you've got Eric Adams, Turkey. You've got Bob Menendez, Egypt. Jared fucking Kushner, Saudi.
No.
Do you guys notice?
Dude.
Is there a
Dude,
pattern
I'm sorry.
here, or is it just me?
100% the Saudis looked at Jared's previous distinguished business career and said, that's the fucking guy we need, okay? There's no way that it had anything to do with him being Trump's son-in-law. They were like, he ran that magazine into the ground, and his father's real estate empire, he almost ran that into the ground too. So this is the visionary we need.
Okay, well, just flow with me for a second and pretend that this is like, Saudi
Fair.
Corruption here, or really American corruption to Jared Kushner. I mean, when you sit back and you look at the hierarchy or the pecking order of the Middle East, does this not follow that pecking order? You've got like Turkey and Egypt bribing the mayor of New York City and, some, one of 100 senators, guy from New Jersey. And then you got Saudi fucking going right after the president's son-in-law. I mean, dude, it really reflects the world, does it not?
Adam Iser, founder of the crypto trading platform Zord, has been charged with bribing officials from the Los Angeles Sheriff Department as part of an extortion scheme. Iser, who feds call the Godfather, allegedly used these officials to help extort, intimidate, and silence victims through unlawful searches and arrest. On top of that, he's accused of hiding millions from tax collectors by funneling money through shell companies with co-conspirators. The funds were reportedly spent on luxury cars, nearly $1 million in rent for a Bel Air mansion, $64,000 on cosmetic surgery to extend the length of his legs, and about
you should look into that, Freddie. You should. That's not a lot of money.
100%.
You can afford it.
I actually thought it was more than that. Freddie, this could be great for you.
As I'm reading this story, I'm thinking, like, what the fuck is this story about? I'm like, oh, now I know where you're going with this. And about $280,000 per month to pay off active duty law enforcement. When I see these amounts, you know what I'm thinking? Like, $1 million on rent, $280,000 a month. The only medical procedure, it sounds like he got it off Groupon. Like, what? Like, why is it so much cheaper than everything else in his life? Like, what is he doing? How short was he? I mean,
he was taller than you.
I mean, he's Napoleon short. I mean, pretty,
Freddie,
okay, so all right, so you know what?
Hang on.
Let's
where
be
this
honest.
Where this guy clearly fucked up, and you're very lucky to have me as a friend to tell you this, is you don't just get your legs lengthened without getting your arms lengthened. So, well, like, you could probably get them both thrown in, a little bit of a discount.
like 100.
So you could probably get the legs
maybe.
and the arms. No
I
more
know
than 110.
legs,
No more than
arms,
110,000.
And like a chin implant is like 120.
Oh,
I'll tell you what.
Just saying.
I haven't had any work done ever, but I promise you,
What?
given how much we have broken on this podcast in terms of, plastic surgery to major members in the short selling community, should I get
so
my
crazy.
legs lengthened, I promise you I will come back on and I will show you.
get your
Really?
arms lengthened too.
I mean, if
Short
you're gonna
arms
do
like
that,
T-Rex arms and long legs, it's a dead giveaway. Okay, lots of pikers do that. You're a player. You're not going to do that.
Noted.
is he
But
though?
well, actually, but you know what else this story says to me? The feds call this guy the Godfather. Okay,
The Godfather.
this story shows the abject corruption of the federal government and the revolving door between government service and the private sector. Because who the fuck working at the DOJ thinks that some guy who's like put millions of dollars overseas is the goddamn Godfather? It's not Godfather. These numbers are like, fuck you. Come on, man. I mean, Rudy Giuliani was doing like 100x this when he was busting up the Fulton Street fish market back in the 90s. Like, this is in the 80s. This is bullshit. This is bullshit. Godfather.
Yeah. Like,
Blow me.
Freeway Rick Ross had like hundreds of millions of dollars in houses in the 80s. Like, he was a godfather.
Like, the Godfather of this year
80s.
is the guy who has 1,000 bottles of lube. Like, that's some Godfather shit. Like, I don't know if
I don't know.
any
That guy's
person, any single person who lived ever had that many bottles of lube. Like, that's Godfather level.
Oh, no. I've just had the best idea. This is real time, guys. This is not scripted, okay? Diddy's got that vodka brand, right? Ciroc?
Okay?
Okay. I bet the price of that has come way fucking down. I bet there are guys who are like, yeah, we need to clean the fuck out of that inventory. I get you can get people to pay to take that off your hands.
Is that his
Probably
vodka?
the vodka is like halfway decent, right? So pour the
It's not.
vodka out, okay? Sell that to the city of San Francisco to give to the homeless,
Oh,
right? The markup on that's going to be huge. And then, wait a minute.
We will save San Francisco.
This is the best bit. Let's get our own lube factory going and put it in the empty Ciroc bottles and sell it as premium Diddy fucking lube. Boom!
You mean used?
Actually, this is probably one of the best
Whatever.
ideas you've ever had.
That's a sick idea. You know it. So look, to close it out with something topical, and an admission of the failings of the educational system in the United Kingdom, I did just discover today that Mr. Christopher Columbus was Italian. I'd always thought he was Spanish. I don't know why. He had a Spanish ship, right? Was that it?
Actually, Portuguese.
I actually Googled to see if there were any interesting facts about Christopher Columbus, and there were none. None, if you look at, like, your other cool historical figures, right? Like, Soren told me, and I have no idea if this is true or not.
Please.
That apparently...
It's not true.
Apparently, Benjamin Franklin discovered the blowjob and brought it back to America. I honestly don't know if it's true or not, but I just love the idea that that's true.
So he had to give the first blowjob in America?
So apparently it's like in his writings because he
I'm
spent a
doing
bunch
this.
of time.
I'm doing this purely for scientific purposes. I don't enjoy this at all.
So no, apparently like the act of oral sex, like a woman giving it to a man, was just still considered like deeply homosexual. And then he like went to France and spent time in the salons, and like women there were doing it. And apparently he was just like, guys, this is awesome. You guys got it all wrong. Now I honestly have no way of verifying if that's true. look, for those guests who are still watching, which I'm sure is going to be all of you, next week we'll see if we can get Saran on the podcast to verify this. I believe actually he did. I think because Saran went to Harvard, and I think his dissertation was on this. It might not have been, but it could have been.
So my other favorite thing about Christopher Columbus, is that when I lived in China, the government there began claiming that it was actually their greatest explorer, Zheng He, who discovered America, which they're obviously completely full of shit. But my favorite fact about Zheng He is that apparently he brought bubonic plague to Africa. 5,000 years of culture, baby. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe to Zero Fucks Given. Till next time.
Zero Fucks Given Podcast.